Welcome to the Rebound Rundown. I'm your host, Paul Fritschner. This is your daily digest college basketball show that covers everything you need to know about your favorite team. From game previews to recaps to press conferences and breakdowns, we have you covered. Every Monday through Friday with your morning commute, wherever you get your podcast, and make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Welcome into another episode of the Rebound Rundown. I'm your host, Paul Fritschner. As we continue this off-season series, we are up here today in the Glass City at Toledo, and I'm joined by the head coach of the Toledo Rockets, Tod Kowalczyk. It's great to be here, Coach, with you, and as always, make sure to anybody watching, listening, you subscribe as we get closer to the season. Plenty more content. We'll have a vlog coming from here at Toledo. Going to mic up Austin Parks here in just a minute after we're done with this interview and give you some more kind of interactive content from that. But we've been all over the Midwest, and this is, I believe, our third stop at a MAC school. We've been to Ohio, we've been to Miami, and now we're up here at Toledo. And Coach Kowalczyk, it's great to be here with you. How you doing today?
Great, Paul. I appreciate you coming. I've been a fan of your work. I've followed it, and I've seen many of the segments, and you do a great job.
Well, I appreciate you. So I do have to start. Toledo holds a very soft spot in my heart because it's the first game I ever broadcasted. Back in COVID, he played at Xavier.
Yeah.
It's the first men's basketball game that was a part of my career. The broadcast got canceled about 20 minutes before you probably have no idea that this even happened, but about 20 minutes before the game, the TV truck got COVID, right? So they had to cancel the broadcast.
I do remember that.
And I was sitting courtside.
Yeah.
I was just supposed to be helping with some timing. They said, hey, can you throw a headset on and call the game? Toledo, Ryan Rollins, very close game.
Had Ryan he got cut and came out of the game. The last 3 minutes of the game didn't play. Had he finished that game, I think it would have been a different outcome.
Yeah, tight one.
Yeah.
Tight one. So let's talk about, kind of wrapping up last season, heading throughout this offseason and what this offseason has looked like. So, a fourth place finish last year, but that's coming off of 4 straight MAC titles. You've really set the precedent. You set the bar high for this program. And in the MAC, no school had ever done that, 4 straight MAC titles from 21 to 24. So coming off of last season, reading about, your thoughts at the end of last season where you felt like, maybe we needed a little bit of a gut check to reset here over the summer. What's this summer been like for you?
It's been a good summer, but I think you're right. It was a gut check last year. It was, I think, and I said this to our media afterwards, I think our program and me as a head coach probably needed to be humbled, I think people can take that winning for granted a little bit, and we kind of got away from what made us successful, and we got to get back to what won 4 straight outright championships, and when you finish 4th, a lot of teams in our league, pretty good year, not here, so disappointed last year. We never came together. It was not hate to dwell on last year much, but it wasn't a fun team to coach or a fun team as a fan to root for. Never gelled, our togetherness was not there, our leadership was not there. So we had a lot of work to do this offseason, and I think our guys have been really, really good this offseason. So excited about this year, excited about the future of this coming season. I think it's a team that'll continue to get better. This team is fun to coach. I think it'll be fun to root for.
Well, it's fun looking at the mix of guys that you have on this team because you have 3 returners, you have 5 freshmen, you have 5 transfers. You were able to mix and mold this team, I think, pretty well. What's been maybe the most challenging part of getting some of these newer faces to adapt to what Tod Kowalczyk wants to do in his system?
Yeah, 10 new guys is not ideal, and I don't believe that's the future. And I don't believe that not at least not at Toledo. On any given year, we're going to lose guys. Look at this wall. We lost some guys, and we're going to continue to lose some guys. We got good players and they develop, but I don't think we'll lose nearly as many. I think retention is going to be important for us. But five new guys, 5 transfer guys, and then 5 high school guys. That's a lot, and but 2 or 3 of our high school guys are going to play. Not all 5 will, but 2 or 3 will definitely play. And our transfers, I've been really happy with. To be honest with you, Paul, I'd say all 10 of our new guys are probably better than I thought they'd be, which is a good sign.
That's great.
It's a good sign.
We like that.
Yeah.
So last year, 336th in the country in bench minutes. Depth, right? And you're trying to build that this year. I think a lot of coaches you hear will say, we have 10 or 11 guys that can play, right? But by the time you get to February and the second week of March, it's maybe 7 guys that you've boiled down your rotation. How do you like the depth of this year's team?
Well, way better than last year's team. There's no question about that. If you ask me, we play on Sunday at Findlay. If you ask me today, who's our starting 5, I'm not sure I know. And I think it may be a team that the starting 5 may change. It might change game to game, or maybe different parts of the season. I don't think it's going to look the same in February as it does on November 3rd. Put it that way.
This is your 16th season at Toledo. Can you believe that?
It's a long tenure. There's no question about that.
What's been your maybe favorite part of what you've seen through the development of this program from day one until now? Here you are in year 16.
I think just the consistency. I think we all know winning's really, really hard.
Yeah.
And I think it's 10 times harder to do it consistently at a high level. You look at what we've done over time. It's it's there, but again, we took a drop from last year. We got to get back to being one of the best teams in this league.
Yeah. What do you feel like is going to be a trademark of this year's team this year? Like when you watch this year's team, last year, I think you would probably say needed more defensively last year,
question.
Right? I mean,
we were awful defensively last year.
It did not finish very, very well defensively last season. Need to improve that this year. Like, are those things that you've really preached this year, or is it going to be a better defensive unit because just the collection of talent is better than last year?
I think the collection of talent is better. The buy-in's better. We weren't a very talented, defensive team for sure last year. Made mistakes, in recruiting that we've corrected. But I think this year we got to get back to what made us successful. And that's we want to recruit high character men. Number one, got really good guys from good families. We got to get back to recruiting better shooters. That took a step back the last couple of years. We've always been a really, really good shooting team, and we haven't been. We need better shooters, and then we need more toughness. And then the fourth thing is the most important thing. What you said, we need a renewed, defense of just an energy. We've had some really good defensive teams here. Last year we were awful. The buy-in was awful. The effort was awful. The coaching was awful. I have to do a better job as a head coach of demanding, finishing possessions and buying in defense. And if guys aren't doing that, we got enough depth to put somebody else in there.
3 of your transfers in the backcourt, your guards, averaged at least 38% from 3 that you bring in. You talk about shooting. To be able to add to that out of the portal, that was obviously a focus.
Without question, and Kyler Vanderjagt is a guy that can really shoot the basketball. Sean Craig's a spacing foreman that can shoot the ball. Chris Riddle from DePaul didn't play much there, but he's a really good shooter. And I think Austin Parks is another guy that shoots the ball a lot better than I thought he would. So the biggest thing that I like collectively about that group of transfers, and I'm going to throw some of our other guys, Sonny and Jalen Owinga, we got guys that have a lot to prove. And I think it's a healthy thing.
I was really impressed. Just finished up practice this morning. I was really impressed with Sonny today. I thought, just his ability to get to the rim, shoot the ball, he could score at a couple of different levels. I thought he had a great day, at least in my opinion. I know you thought that today's practice left a little to be desired, but I thought Sonny really impressed today.
Yeah, and I don't want to make excuses, but we just came off a fall break.
Yeah.
And I told our staff, I bet you we're probably, maybe 10% of college staffs tell our guys to get out of here for fall break. They've been gone for 4 or 5 days. I think in time it'll pay off dividends. But the first practice back from fall break, last week I was really excited about this team. I'm still excited about this team, but disappointed today. Just we had some guys sucking air a little bit, and you could certainly tell. But Sonny was really, really good today, and he has been really good. His leadership has taken off. Was as a sophomore last year, was third team All League. Oftentimes didn't feel comfortable in the leadership role, And now he's 100% comfortable, loves that role. And I'm excited for him because I think he's buying into it. He's good at it, and he's a winner. He's a tough kid.
Yeah, I was going to say you could see the personality coming out during practice. You could see, though, leading by example, a lot of the plays that he was making, scoring, all of those things that you like the way he's able to lead the team this year from the backcourt.
I do, and Sonny's one of those guys that he can be playing just okay. But he's going to make 2 plays at the end of the game that's going to help you win the game.
Yeah.
It might be an offensive rebound. It might be his deflection. It might be a steal. It might be getting to the free throw line, making some free throws, whatever it may be. He's just a winner.
Austin Parks, highly recruited out of high school, went to Ohio State. Career didn't really pan out with the Buckeyes the way that he hoped that it would. But now he finds himself here at Toledo and what is expected to be a much larger role here with your squad. So what did you like about Austin? Did you recruit him out of high school? And he tried to recruit him.
Didn't go very well. But when he's visiting Michigan State, Ohio State, Illinois, and Indiana, I think those were his 5 primary schools. It was hard for a MAC school to get involved. But he was familiar with us. His high school coach and his AU coach were very familiar with us. So there was a comfort level there by the mom and dad, and we've had. A lot of success in the even before there was a transfer portal in the transfer market. We've had a lot of success with guys that we recruited the first time around.
Yeah,
Ray J. Dennis, Dante Maddox, Tyler Cochran, Ryan Pearson. I can go down the list of really good transfers that we've had. We recruited out of high school, and for whatever reason we didn't get them, but. We knew the family, we knew the character, we knew a lot about them, and because of that, we probably had a head start. And Austin's the same way. Same thing with Kyler Vanderjagt. I mean, it was us in Belmont. Out of high school, he went to Belmont, and I should have taken him last year. My mistake.
How important is that for you now as a coach? Maybe different from the way it was 10 years ago, where the player might commit to another school and you're never going to hear from him or see him again. And now it could be the next offseason. You say, "Hey, coach, I know it didn't work last year, but." What do you say we can make it work this offseason?
Well, that's a lot of recruiting right now, and that's the transfer portal, and that's the world we're living in. But again, I do think there's going to be change coming.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer that I know the NCAA gets knocked by a lot of people. I think there's going to be some change coming. What that change in, I don't know, but there has to be some type of transfer portal rules and regulations and salary caps, whatever it may be, but there has to be some type of rules coming down.
What's the change you would like to see?
I think maybe transfer once, but if there's a head coaching change, they can transfer a second time. I think that's been floated out there. That makes too much sense to me. You look at it, somebody that transfers every year, number one, are they going to graduate? Because you lose credits oftentimes when you transfer. Are you going to be able to graduate? We're still in the business of teaching and educating. And I worry about somebody that goes to 4 or 5 schools. I worry for them. Are they employable? When they're 30 years old and go for a job interview, someone's going to say, "Well, why'd you leave that school? That school?" It doesn't look good on a resume for a normal job. Now, for basketball, maybe people don't care. But when they're in the real world, I worry about that. So I think there needs to be some type of, looking at big picture of what's this doing to these men and women when they're 40, 45 years old? Where are they going to be, and do they have a college degree, et cetera? So I'd like to think that there's going to be some people that get in a room and have some positive change.
How have you seen recruiting change at this level over the last 6 or 7 years, from maybe priorities or what guys want when they get here, those kinds of things? How have you seen it evolve?
I think we're getting better high school players, personally. I think a lot of the high major guys are, waiting for the transfer portal and saving scholarships and saving money, whatever it may be. Because of that, I think we're getting better high school players. And there's a little bit sense of urgency from the high school guys. They know there's less slots. Because a lot of guys are, we got 3 commitments for the 26 class. There's a lot of coaches that aren't going after 26 class. They want to wait and see. And we're still going to build our program with high school players and develop them. Now, taking 5 like we did this year, had we known what was coming with revenue share and all that stuff, I probably wouldn't have taken 5. I'm happy with the 5 that we have, but this year we decided to take 3.
How have you changed your mindset on development as a coaching staff when you know maybe we were only going to have guys for a year or 2 years, or maybe they come in as juniors or seniors and you don't have the same kind of development where you get 6 or 7 guys that come in as a freshman, you know they're going to stay for 4 years and you know what they're going to look like as a senior class. Does development change for you?
Doesn't change one bit. It's still the top priority in our program. Developing our players is the most important. And I think if you look at, the reason why we won 4 straight outright championships, our guys got better. Even Ryan Rollins he was heavily recruited for our level, but he got better. Ray J. Dennis got better here. Seth Milner, JT Schumann, go down the list. Those guys all got better every year. Now, can we keep someone for 4 years? I'd still like to think that unicorn is out there. But at the same time, you might lose some guys, and that's fine. But people like to recruit from winning programs, and the Akrons and Kents and Toledos and Miamis and Ohios. Our players are going to be recruited because they're well coached. They get better, and they win.
A fifth third better means an early payday.
Terry, it's coming early.
Okay, I got the bag, I got the key. Who do you want me to call?
It's my paycheck. It's coming early.
What?
Are you okay?
I timed it. It was my best time yet.
This is banking a fifth third better.
What makes us human? Humanity is found in the actions that redefine care. Actions that we at TriHealth take every day. By seeing those who feel invisible, hearing needs that have been ignored. TriHealth is healing the body and the human spirit, so all can know and live a better life.
Deer Park Roofing leads the industry in professionalism, quality, and responsiveness. So whether your needs are residential or commercial, Deer Park Roofing ensures every job is done right. Protect what's important with Deer Park Roofing. Visit deerparkroofing.com.
Well, you speak about winning. If you look at this wall behind you, you have a whole laundry list of players that have come through here with notes to you. You have a Ryan Rollins jersey over on the wall back over there. You have a Dwyane Wade jersey over there on the right. You have all of these players that have been around Tod Kowalczyk throughout their careers. You ever take a second and just look at all this and think about, I know this is very simple to say, but just how cool it is that you've been able to, impact a lot of these players.
I do take a second often to look at this and feel a sense of pride. But these guys are special to me behind me. They're the reason why we've won championships. That, and I have an unbelievable assistant coaches. It's got very little to do with Tod Kowalczyk. It's the players and the assistant coaches of why we've had so much success. And these guys have all gotten better, and they're true Rockets. That's why they're on this wall. I used to have jerseys all over this office, and my wife just thought it was too cluttered. So I give my wife credit for designing the walls in the office, and she did a great job. But we're trying to, show the accomplishments of this program. But she wanted to keep at least the quotes up on this wall.
Probably hard to narrow down to just one, but outside of a guy like Ryan Rollins or Dwyane Wade or any of them, do any of these guys, is there one quote or one thing that sticks out to you that you come back to that you think, oh yeah, that impacted me from their perspective?
I think it all started with and people are over time, don't remember the name, but Ryan Pearson. He came with me from Wisconsin, Green Bay in 2010. He was a freshman at Green Bay. When I got the job here in 2010, he followed me. And that was back when they had to sit out a year. So I coached him for 5 years, 1 year at Green Bay and 4 years here at Toledo. He was my first guy that just at Toledo that really believed in our vision. And then I think you look at, Ray J. Dennis, the best feel of any player I've ever been around. His incredible feel and just his work ethic, his leadership, a true pro, and he's going to be in the NBA for a long time.
Can you tell pretty quick when players are going to have success at the next level now that you've been around them for so long?
I think you have a pretty good idea. We knew in the recruiting process that Ryan Rollins was an NBA player. My staff will tell you, I came back from the B-Cam camp up in Michigan, and that guy's a pro. We got to get him. That's a must get. We got to get him, and we put every effort into recruiting him and his wonderful parents. And lo and behold, he's here for 2 years. Enters the draft. Now he's got a chance to start for the Milwaukee Bucks this year. So. We've had some really good players come through here, but obviously, talent-wise, Ryan Pearson is at the top of the list. I'm sorry, Ryan Rounds at the top of the list.
How do you think the MAC will be overall this year from looking at some of the rosters and the way the portal came together for this conference and how the teams will be outside of Toledo? What are you expecting out of the MAC this year?
I think the MAC is going to be tremendous this year, just competitive at the top end. The top. I'll argue with anybody. I think – the top of the league has been really good. Even when the last 2 years, the ranking has not been very high. Our conference net ranking has not been very high. That's a problem for the league, and I have some ideas why. But the top of the league has been as good as it was when in 2016 and 17. I think we were 9th in the rankings. We've been as high as 9. So out of 32 conferences. So the MAC is a really good league, and I think it's going to continue to be a really good league. As long as you have the John Grosses, Rob Senderoffs, and Travis Steele's, Jeff Bowles, the really quality, coaches continue to strive, and top of the league is good, and the bottom of the league is really talented with some really good coaches. So I think that's the key for us as a league is get the bottom team a little bit better.
Yeah, it's always interesting to me when you look at some of these leagues and the way that coaches see talent transferring up to maybe the high major level, right? Some coaches might be annoyed that they lost talent to the high major level. Some coaches lean into it and they say, well, if they're transferring up, that means that we did something right and great for them. They're going in and they're earning their NIL money or whatever it might be. How do you approach the players that come to your office 2 days after the season and say, Coach, I'm going to look elsewhere?
Well, I'd like to be able to keep a guy for at least 2 years. I think having someone here just for 1 year, I'm not sure that they can. If they stay for 2 years and they really are, if they're first or second team all league, and they have an opportunity to go make some pretty more significant amount of money, you can't fault them or blame them. There's no question about that. But it doesn't always turn out. And is it 1 year money? And oftentimes it is. It's not 2-3 years of money or we've had some guys that have left here that were all conference players that went elsewhere and didn't play much. Now all of a sudden their professional opportunities are not what they were had they stayed at Toledo and continued to win championships and be all conference players.
Do you think it's more valuable for players, and this might be a tough question to ask you on the air here, but I'll give you an opportunity to share your thoughts on a player that averages 12 a game at the mid-major level versus 2 a game off the bench at the high major level. What maybe is more valuable for them?
Not even close. 12 a game here. And 12 a game at the MAC, 2 a game at the high major level. Their professional opportunities are not good. And I would like to think that if you're the best player in our league, or one of the top 2 or 3 best players in the league, you got a lot better opportunity to play professionally and make money than you do being the 3rd best player, 4th best player at Kansas. Just my opinion. Maybe I'm completely off base there, but I think if you're Ryan Rounds and Ray J. Dennis and you're the player of the year of this league, you're gonna make some money professionally. And I'm not talking about money transferring to other schools. I'm talking about either NBA money or overseas money, and have opportunities to make something that you can help your life with.
How do you go about scheduling in the non-conference here at Toledo? What's your mentality?
Well, I think people will tell you scheduling is difficult. We like to play the local teams. Especially now with revenue share, everybody's got some budget cutbacks. So if we can play our non-conference games when we play Oakland, Detroit, Wright State, Youngstown State, Marshall, teams like that, those are bus rides. I'd like to play Fort Wayne. I'd like to play Cleveland State. Those games make too much sense. And then playing some really good tournaments as well. And then, this year I was very, very thankful that Tom Izzo played us. Last year we played, Matt Painter in Purdue and Kelvin Sampson at Houston. But I think when you're one of the better mid-major programs in the country, the Kents and the Akrons and Toledos and Miami this year, it takes a very secure high major head coach to play us. It really does.
Yeah,
secure in their job and secure in themselves.
Yeah,
and Tom Izzo is. And obviously, I'd like to, Dusty May is, but there's a lot of, you'd be surprised, Paul, at the responses that we get when we call about scheduling. Those conversations are often pretty short and very, very blunt, of a quick no. But, I think it only benefits those high major players to play a good mid major, and even in the exhibitions, I'm playing at Findlay. A Division II, we might be the only Division I program in the country playing on the road at a top 10 Division II team in the country. We could lose that game. It doesn't matter. It's about getting us better for the season. And I think people lose sight of those exhibitions. That'll help us to go on the road to a place you can't communicate. You can't. I would love to get Ohio State to come to Toledo for an exhibition. I think it would help their season. I don't think it's going to happen, but or I'm just throwing the name out there. It could be anybody, because I think it helps their season when you go on the road against a tough environment. It's only going to help you.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. You look at the way that some of these exhibitions, Purdue's playing Kentucky upcoming, Cincinnati and Michigan as we're recording this, they play tomorrow night. Xavier plays Murray State this week.
Good for Xavier by playing the Murray State, and they're playing us at a close scrimmage. But good for Richard Pitino to play two really good mid-majors. That tells me something about him. He's a secure dude.
Yeah, and to be able to challenge yourself with some teams that in the preseason you have to see what your team is like. And then you look in the regular season, you say to yourself, okay, maybe I don't want to risk playing a perennial MAC title contender in Toledo because it might hurt my NCAA tournament chances or whatever down the line. I understand that, but at the same time, I wish you could start to see some of those games come back where it's not the top-end teams playing the absolute bottom-end teams just because that's what's incentive. And it's really nobody's fault necessarily because that's what's being incentivized by the selection committee.
Yeah, but not by the good head coaches. Look at what Nate Oates does in the non-conference.
Yeah.
Look at what Tom Izzo did. Tom Izzo lost to James Madison 2 years ago. They still made the NCAA tournament a heck of a team at Michigan State, though.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt them.
Yeah.
That loss did not hurt them one bit. Probably helped motivate them to become a really good team, and obviously propelled James Madison to having a special season.
Are you a proponent of NCAA tournament expansion or not?
Oh, I am. I think any mid-major head coach would be crazy not to. The MAC has been a one-bid league for a long, long time, virtually forever. That doesn't mean we can't be have a two-bid team within our league. And for example, the Buffalo team in 2017, I believe it was, they were, had they not won the conference tournament, they were going to get in. They were a top 20 team in the country the whole season. They were going to get in. So you can have a two-bid team. We haven't had a two-bid team lately. I thought a couple of years ago Toledo would be on that. In 13-14, we let it end of the season. We're 36 in the RPI before they had a net ranking. I'm not sure we had much of a discussion in that room. So to expand the tournament and try to get two MAC teams, heck yeah, I'm for it.
Con Knipple is your nephew by marriage, right?
By marriage, yes. It's not my blood, but that's why
Close enough.
I married really well.
How close was he to coming to Toledo, Coach?
He was not close.
Oh, come on.
We were his only offer early on, but then as soon as Marquette and Wisconsin offered, Notre Dame came in, Stanford came in. That was kind of the first wave of schools, Ohio State, Iowa, and then after his junior summer, that's when the Dukes of the world came in, and I love him to death. He's a very good player, but obviously what Duke did for him, it put him on a national stage that probably all the other schools could not have done, and to be the fourth pick in the draft.
Did you know he was going to be that good from an early age?
I knew he was going to be really good. Did I know he's going to be the fourth pick in the draft? I think I'd be lying if I said, I knew that. But a talented individual and somebody that, what I love about him is his work ethic. His knowledge for the game is off the charts. His pace of play is really, really good. And he just makes shots.
Dwyane Wade. Tell me something about Dwyane Wade that the public doesn't often hear.
Well, I think, people ask me about him all the time. And what I like, and I tell our players this. Number one, I wouldn't be a head coach without him. Because of him, we were really, really good at Marquette. And because of that, I got my first head coaching opportunity in 2002 at Green Bay. But the best part about him, I think a great ability you can have as an athlete or in any walk of life is ability to accept criticism. He took it to another level. He didn't accept criticism. He sought it out. He didn't want to hear what he did well. He wanted to know what he wasn't doing well. And I thought Tom Crean did a really good job of coaching him. His first year he redshirted, and he played all 5 positions in practice. He played the best player in the opposition for the scout team. He got better with his skill set during the year he sat out. And then by the time he was a sophomore, he was tremendous. And then his second year playing, they went to a Final Four. I was not on that staff. I was there for the first 2 years. But his ability to accept criticism and his competitive spirit was off the charts. If he just did just random drills, he's just all right. But as soon as you put a time and score on it, it changed. And he was competitive.
Do you still keep up with Tom Crean?
I do. Think the world of Tom Crean. He hired me at Marquette. Marquette was a special place during that era, still is. And Tom gave me an opportunity to – I thought I was ready to be a head coach. I was not ready to be a head coach until I worked for Tom Crean. His organizational skills, his attention to detail are unbelievable. And it really helped me working for him.
So what's something that you learned or maybe that stuck out for maybe a coach listening right now that is thinking they're going to be a head coach but isn't quite ready yet? What's something that sticks out from your early days from that?
Get involved with every aspect of the program. Maybe one year you help with scheduling. Maybe one year you flip from working with the guards to working with the post guys. But the more you can do within a program, it's only going to help you. And I think, I was a Division II assistant in 1991 at St. Anselm's College. That was probably my greatest experience as an assistant coach, working for Keith Dixon, because I was the only assistant coach. I had to do everything. I did the scouting, I did the recruiting, and did the fundraising. So that really helped me.
Coach, this is the last stop on the Rebound Rundown's off-season tour for this year. So I appreciate you letting us come in here today, sit down with you for the last half hour, talk about some of these things. I've always been a fan of your program. I got to meet Dante Maddox last year through covering Xavier's program. He had a great second half of the season there, a really great guy. But I appreciate you coming up here and letting us be a part of your program for the day, and best of luck to you and the Rockets this season.
Oh, big fan of yours, Paul. Keep doing what you're doing, and I like how you're promoting the MAC and promoting the mid-major program, so thank you.
Absolutely. This has been another episode of the Rebound Rundown. Thanks again to everybody that has watched and listened throughout the offseason. And now we're going to kick it really into season coverage, so there will be plenty more here over the next couple of weeks as we really get ready for opening night on November 3rd. I'm Paul Fritschner signing off. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, leave a rating, review, all of that good stuff. For Coach Tod Kowalczyk, I'm Paul Fritschner signing off. Thanks for listening to the Rebound Rundown, everybody. Enjoy your day. We'll talk to you soon.